I'm Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with accordion menus. These are really neat menus that allow you to do things like frequently asked questions, or you can put an accordion style menu in a course. There's a lot of things you can do with it. So let's take a look at how we can set them up. So the first accordion style that I'm going to show you is accordion menu style number 1. And this is an example of what it can look like. And when I click on it, it opens up. And you can see how the box around it changed. I set those colors to change just like that. When I click it again, it goes back to the way it was. And then I can click the other one, and the other one, and the other one. So all of these are clickable, and then inside you can put the information that answers the question that's on the bar. So for example, the first one is, why does the moon look white? When I click that, I get the answer right here. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can actually configure that, and I'll show you exactly how it works. So before I add my accordion menu down below this so I can show you how it actually works, I'm going to take the footer and drag it down a bit. That way I've got plenty of room to work with my accordion menu. So I'm just going to create some space. There we go. And now I can actually bring in the accordion menu. So all I do is go to the plus sign, and I'm going to go to boxes and lines. And there's a menu right here that opens up. I'm going to go to the last item, which is accordion elements. I'm going to click that. It takes me all the way down to the accordion elements. We're going to work with this first one, which is accordion menu style number 1. When I click it, it puts it right on my editor. So then I'm going to drag it down so we're out of the way. And I'm just going to go ahead and create it to be exactly like this one here. So in order to do that, what I need to do is copy the questions and put them in here. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click this menu and go to Configuration. And this is where I can configure the banner that's on the top, the header banner, and then all of the information that's inside. As far as the banner is usually where the question is at, the rest of the panel is where usually the answer is at. So you'd put your frequently asked question here, and then the answer in the description area. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it'd be like to fill this out. Alright, so I've typed all my questions in the panel title area, and I've typed all the answers in the panel description area. And then I'm going to click Save. And now you can see that I've got my questions there, and if I click on it, I can see my answers there too. But you can see that the default accordion menu style is really plain. So we can actually do some configuring to make it look a little different. So let's go ahead and right-click, and we'll go to Customization. And now here we can actually change a lot of things about the way this accordion menu looks. So I'm first going to go to the active header style, and that means the header that's been clicked. So this header's been clicked, so it would be the active header. So I'm going to right-click and go to Customization and Active Header Style. And I want to choose that light blue. So I'm going to go to the background of the active header, and I'm going to click the color, and I'm going to choose that light blue color. So you see how that's changed? But now what that's done is it's made our text not very readable because of the color of the text. So we'll change that. So let me close the color picker. And right here I can change the text that's in the active header. So the first thing I can change is the color. And I'm going to change that to white so I can see it better. So there's the white. And now that color is white, right? And all I did to do that was just click that little white square right there and chose white and then closed it. So now that's white. And now I can choose to left justify, center, or right justify. I think I want to keep it left justify. I think I want to bold the letters so they kind of stand out a little bit. And then I want to change the size of it. And to match the size of this menu, I can go to, I believe 26 was what it was at. So there we go. And I don't think I have these bolded, so let's go ahead and change that, and we will not bold them. So that's the active header style. So I can click that again to close that window. Now I'm going to configure the header style, which is all the rest of them. So I'm going to click that one. And I can choose the background of the header style, and I'm going to make it this dark blue. So I'm going to click the white color, and I'm going to choose the dark blue color. And you see all of my headers changed color except for the active one. And then I'm going to close the color picker. And now I can choose to affect the text on the header style. I'm going to go ahead and make the text white. So I'm going to click the color and choose white. And now all the text is white. And I'm going to go over here to size, and I'm going to make it that same 26, the same as the active header. So now everything's matching. And I've also got the option to change the border style of our header. So if you take a look, if I click that, you see the border around it gets bigger. And then if I kind of hold it down, it gets smaller. The border right now is set to gray. I'm going to go ahead and click it and make it white. So now the border around each of my headers is white instead of gray. So that configures the header style. Now I can go in and create different settings for the content style, which is inside here where the answer is. So if I click on that, I can choose the background of the content. So I can change that color if I want to green, or I can change it back to white. And then I can change the border style. And remember on this other one, I had a border style that was that blue that was kind of all around the box. So I'm going to choose a border style of solid. I'm going to change the border size to maybe a 10. Oh, let's go 12. There's 12. And then the color of it is set to gray. I'm going to set it to that same blue, that light blue color. That one right there. So now the border of the inside of the box is the same color as the active header, which is kind of cool looking. So I like that. So those are our settings. Let me go ahead and minimize. And remember that you can choose to make changes and customize the active header, which is this one right here, the one that's clicked on, all the other header styles, which are these right here, and then the content style, which is inside where the description is at. So we've configured all that. We like the way that looks. Okay. And now we can actually go in and make some other changes if we want to the actual description right here. To do that, we just right click and go into configuration. And in each area of the description, so this is the first description area, we have a dynamic toolbar here. So we can change this color. So I can highlight the word moon and choose to bold it. I could choose high contrast and italicize it. So I have some neat little tricks that I can do. I also have the link available here, so I can highlight specific areas of this text and create a hyperlink. So I could go to click here to find out more, and then highlight the click here area and choose link, and then I could set it to a URL and send them to www.google.com and then click OK. So there's several options I have for configuring this text in here, and this is now a clickable link so that when the visitor clicks it, they'll actually go somewhere. So it's more than just a description. It can send them to more information. When I configure all of this text the way I want it, I can click Save. And now you can see that moon is highlighted, and we have a clickable link here that we set to go to Google, but you can set it to go to anywhere you want. That's how we set up the accordion menu style number 1. It's pretty simple, but let me tell you some drawbacks. When you click inside this one, there's not really a good way to put in video or pictures. It's pretty much just text. You do have a little bit of configuration of that text. Let's go ahead and look at it again. You've got a spell checker, you've got the link, you can add a table, a line, you've got your text formatting area right here. You can do different justifications, you can choose the font style, the size, and then of course the color of the font and the background color of the font. You've got a lot of great stuff, but you're limited. Now if you know some HTML, you can go into the source area and actually do some embedding and stuff like that, but for just the basic use, this one actually is pretty limited, but it is wonderful to use for a straight up question and answer or FAQ thing. Also, remember that we moved our footer down so we could keep it out of the way. That's real easy to move back up. You just click and drag it, and it'll go all the way back up for you, and you can put it exactly where you want it. Now that we've done that menu, let's go ahead and take a look at the live version so you can see what the live version of this accordion menu style looks like. So this is accordion menu style 1, and I want you to notice something interesting. Now when you're working in the editor, you won't see this. You'll have to publish your site and go look at the live site. But when I click these and the menu starts to drop down, watch what happens to the footer. So you see that when I click to make the menu open up, the footer will actually be pushed down. Let me show you that again. So watch where the footer is. When I click it, the footer goes down. And when I click it again, the footer comes back up. So this will actively move down your other elements inside your site and make room so your visitor can actually see the description that you put in there. So this is Accordion Menu Style 1. Let's take a look at the second style, Accordion Menu Style 2. So this is Accordion Menu Style 2, and it looks strangely similar, doesn't it? But we've got a lot more features inside this menu style. For example, if I click this first one, you can see that I've added pictures, and I've got text a little bit different. I've got it in a text box, so it's not quite as blocky as the other one. So if I close that one and I take a look at the rainbow multicolored question, I can see that now I have videos along with pictures and text. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can create that. So the first thing I need to do is actually make a lot of space for my new accordion menu, because as you can see when I click on these, it covers up the footer, and that's going to be a little hectic when you're trying to work with the accordion menu and put everything inside. You want to just drop your footer as far down as you can to make room. So I'm going to grab my footer and drag it. And don't let this scare you. You'll be able to pull that footer right back up when you're done. So I'm going to go back up to the top. And now I'm going to take you to where you can find your style number 2. So you're going to go to the plus button, and you're going to go to boxes and lines, and you're going to go to the accordion elements. And then it's style number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And that adds it to our editor. Now, in order to grab this and drag it, the other one you could just click right on it anywhere and drag it. But this one you have to click in this very special area. It's the accordion group. And when you click on that, you have to use that to drag it. So right here, right now it's at the top of this accordion group. You'll have to click and drag that to be able to move it. So I'm going to move it over here, and then I'm going to grab these little handles to make it larger. And now we've got the same size as this up here. And we've got a little bit of work now to make it look exactly like the one above it. The first thing I'm going to do is create 4 headers. So I'm going to right click where it says accordion group, and I'm going to go to add accordion element. So I'm going to click that and then click it again. So now I have 4 elements in there. And I'm going to go ahead and preview it and then return, and that will actually put them all in the right order, and I can start working with them. There's a few times that you're going to have to preview it to kind of get it working for you. So now what I'm going to do is put in the title of each accordion. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and right click the first accordion and go to configuration, and I'm going to put the title in. So I'm going to highlight that and put that in and then save. Now you did not see it save, right? You haven't seen anything, the name didn't change. That's another situation where you're going to have to go to the preview and take a look at it first and then return, and it will put the name in there for you. So I'm going to do the same thing with the second one. Right click and go to configuration, and I'm going to put the title in there and then click save. And again, you can't see it. I'm going to do the next 3. So I'm going to do the third one. And now I've put all the titles in there, but I have to preview it up here at the very top right. So preview and then return. And now I have all of the titles in there and I can see them, so I can start working inside of this particular menu. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and start configuring and making it look like the top one. So I'm going to go to where it says accordion group, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to customization. And this looks really similar to what we did in the other one. So remember that the active header is the one that's clicked on. So I'm going to right click and go to customization and click active header style. And we want to choose the active header style as that light blue. So here's the background. I'm going to change from white to that light blue. And now that it's light blue, we can't see the text very well. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to a white. So now you can see my text is white, and I want to change the size to match what I have in my other set. So I'm going to change that to 26. And now that's the active header style. So we've configured all that. I'm going to click on it and then change the header style, which is the next 3. So background of the header, I'm going to change it to that dark blue. And then I want the font a white color, just like the active header. So I'm going to click on the color and change it to white. And then I'm going to go over here to the size and go ahead and change the size to 26. There we go. And now everything's starting to match that top header. I also have the option of doing a border style. And right now the border style is at a 1 and it's gray. I'm going to go ahead and change the gray to a white and kind of make the division between those headers a little bit more prominent. I can change the size if I want to, or I can put it back down to a 1. I like 1. That's the header style that we've configured. Now we need to go into the content style, which is that white area that's blank right now underneath each of the headers. So I'm going to click Content Style. And the background of the content, I can change that to any color I want, like purple. But I don't think I want it purple, so I'm going to go ahead and click white. I also have the option of a border style, and I want that border to be that light blue color, so I have kind of a frame. So I'm going to choose to make it solid. I'm going to make the border size a 12. So see, right now we've got a border, but it's gray. So I'm going to change the color to that light blue. There we go. And now we have the headers done, the content area done, and we've got our borders so that everything matches beautifully. So now I can go ahead and close this window. And now I need to work on putting my content inside of each of the headers. So to do that, I actually need to expand the content area so that I can put information in there. So I need to click the content area, and when I do, it's going to be so tiny. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So if you take a look right here, I've clicked on the content area and I've got a teeny tiny little circle right here. I can hover over that area till I get the little hand, and I can drag it down, and I can make that area bigger. When I make that area bigger, that gives me more area to be able to put stuff inside this content area. And this is going to work exactly like if you put any content anywhere on your website. You just drag it over and drop it, and it will be a part of that area. So the first thing I'll do is actually grab a text box. So I'm going to go to plus and text, and I'll grab this text box right here. And it put it in there, but it's kind of hidden it. So I have to move my accordion group. So I'm going to go down here where I have to grab it and drag, and I'm going to drag it down. And there's my text box right there. So I'm going to open this up and take that text box and drag it in right there and drop it. And now it's actually a part of that accordion menu. I'm going to collapse it again and then move my accordion menu back up. Perfect. You'll have to do this a couple times until you get that first time where you've got everything set up, and then it'll be a little bit easier. But if I click on here right now, you can see that I've got my text in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop in an image. So I'm going to go to plus and image and click on image. There's my image. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it until I get that content area highlighted, and then I'm going to drop it. And so now it's a part of the content area. So now I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out so we can kind of see it all again. So now I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller to fit into the content area, and I'll put my text over here, and now I can start working on filling this in. But I'm going to need the same elements in all of the other areas as well. So I'm just going to scroll down, and I'm going to expand this. I'm going to find my little circle to make this bigger. I'm going to make it larger. Fantastic. And then all I'm going to do is Control-C copy and Control-V as in violin paste. And I've copied the image. I'm going to click and drag it. And I'm going to drop it onto this content area. It doesn't look like it's dropping, but if I let go, it drops it on there. So I'll line that up. And then same way with the text, I'm going to copy and paste using Control-C and Control-V, and then click and drag it. It doesn't look like it's going to actually drop on there, but when I let go, it does. So I'll line it up. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this area. I'm going to click and drag it down. And as you can see, our footer is in the way. So I'm going to drag our footer even further down. There we go. Perfect. And now that I've got this content area ready, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And I'm going to copy that image and paste, and I'm going to click and drag it and drop it right there. And then I'm going to copy and paste and click and drag. Okay, so now I've got that one on there. And then I need to do one more, which is the last one. So I'll drag my footer down a little bit more. Keep that footer out of the way. And then I'm going to click on it, and there's my content area. I'm going to find that little bitty circle and drag it. And then I'm going to click on this picture and Control-C, Control-V to copy and paste. Drag it down and drop it. And then the text element, I'm going to Control-C, Control-V, and then drag it down and drop it. So now I have some basic content in each one, and I can go ahead and start working on specifically setting each of those up. So the first one was, why does the moon look white? So I have an answer for that. I'm going to go ahead and copy that into the text area. So I'm going to double click into the text area, triple click to highlight everything, and then paste my text that I have already copied. So I'm going to set everything up, drag this over just a little bit. There we go. And now that's in there, and I need a picture to match that. So I'm going to take this image and right click and go to change. I'm going to go to my training area where I've got my picture. So I'm in the training area, and I'm going to grab my moon picture and click confirm. So now I've got my moon picture in there. I've got my explanation or the answer to the question, and now I'm going to go ahead and click in the content area and drag it up to conserve space. So I've got that one done. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the second one. So this one is, why does the sky look blue? So I'm going to go ahead and get my text for the answer. It's in my notepad. So I'm going to double click to put my cursor in there, and then triple click to highlight everything, and then paste to put my answer in there. And then I'm going to kind of move it around a little bit to put it exactly where I want it. Now I'm going to change the image, so I'm going to click on the image and then right click and go to change image. And I'll find my picture going into the training area of the blue sky and then confirm. That picture's pretty big, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Move it over here, move the text over here, and then maybe center that text a little bit. And now I go ahead and click the content area, find my tiny green circle, and drag it up to conserve some space. So now we've got the first one and the second one done. Now the third one is actually, I had some videos in there. Let's take a look at what the third one looks like here. So if I click it, I've got 2 videos, and I've got the picture and some text. So now I'm going to start working on the third item. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to add my videos, and I'm going to need some extra space because I have a lot of stuff to add in here. So I'm going to kind of move this down. And I'm going to go ahead and go plus, and I'm going to go to audio video, and I'm going to choose YouTube video. Now remember, it actually does dump it in there, but it's behind everything. So let me collapse it. And here's the video right here. So I'm going to kind of hide it right to the side. Then I'm going to go over to the third question. I'm going to get that video and click and drag it till it drops right on here. Perfect. And remember, I had 2 of them, so I'm going to Control-C, Control-V, and copy it over. And now I'm going to center each one. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put the picture right here and the text right here. And now we can start configuring everything. So I'm going to right click and go to configure, and I'm going to get my first URL from my notepad. I'm going to paste it in there and click confirm. Then I'm going to right click the video and go to configure. I'm going to copy the second URL from my notepad And I'm going to paste it right in there and click confirm. So now I've got my videos in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the picture. So I'm going to right click the picture and go to change image. And I'll go to my training folder, and there's my rainbow picture, and I'm going to click confirm. And now I just need to copy my text in here. So I'm going to go back to my notepad and copy it. And I'm going to click inside of it and paste. And there's our rainbow information. I'm going to click and drag it to line it up. There we go. And now I have a little bit of extra space here at the bottom, so I'm going to click in the content area and find that little bitty green circle and drag it up. There we go. And now we've got one more to do, so I'm going to click on that last one, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to choose change image, and I'm going to choose the picture with the white shirt. There we go, and confirm. And I can make that a little bit smaller. Now I'm going to take the text, and I'm going to copy the text and paste it in here. So I double click and then triple click and then paste. And now I've got all the text. I'll expand it to take up more space. Great. And now I'm going to click on the content area, and I'm going to find that little bitty green dot again, and I'm going to drag it up to conserve space. There we go. And now we have it all configured. So if I click on each one, if I click the first one, I can see the picture in the text. The second one, I can see the picture in the text. The third one, I can see the videos, the picture and the text. And the fourth one, I can see the picture and the text. So they're all configured. So this again is a great way to put videos and text and pictures all together and organize them. But this is a little bit more dynamic because the first accordion, you couldn't really add pictures or video unless you know how to do the HTML code to embed. This one, you can actually click and drag just like you would any other web page. The only thing you have to remember is that sometimes it hides the picture underneath the accordion menu. So you got to move the accordion menu out of the way using this little area to drag it. And then you can see your image or your video or your text box. And then you can drag it into the content area. So that's a little tricky, but you'll get it. And then to move this accordion menu, you need to click and drag on the accordion group area, and that way you can put it exactly where you want to. And then of course remember that it always has a frame around it with little circles right here. You can make it shorter or you can make it longer depending on what size you want it. And let's not forget our footer that we hid all the way down here. We can just grab it and drag it up, and it comes right back up to where we want it, and we can kind of move it around to set it however we want it. So now let's take a look at how this looks on a live page to see how awesome this accordion menu works. So here's accordion menu style 2, and it's the exact same thing that we set up. So if you click on it, it expands, and notice that the footer goes down. And then if you click on it to expand again, the footer will go down again, and it will keep pushing the footer down each time you click one of the headers. And then the last one. And then you can collapse them, and it brings the footer back up. So that's how you configure your accordion menu styles inside your Pixel Perfect Builder in Builderall.